Hello, my name is Chris Phillips, and welcome to Crispy Bombs, bite-sized bits to blow up your business. One of my best memories from childhood was our annual family trip to Steamboat Springs, Colorado, every Christmas for a week of skiing. I mean, it was fantastic. Nowadays, the place is more like Aspen or Vail, and it's filled with a bunch of stuffy rich people, and everything's really overpriced. I think a daily ski pass for an adult is around 200 bucks. I mean, that's crazy. Who has that kind of money? But 1970 was my first year that I got to go out there, and I was 5. Back then kids skied for free, and I think adult tickets were around $7. And we got to stay right on the mountain in this beautiful condo, and you could ski right to the chairlift, right from, where you walked out, where you walked out of the condo. So from 1970 to 1984, I never missed a year, and a lot of those years we went on spring break as well. Um, Now, I've been good at a few things in my life, but skiing is what I excelled most at. I could do all kinds of tricks from flips to helicopters, you name it, I could do it because I started when I was 5 and I was just so passionate about it. But my favorite thing to do was just get big air. I just loved flying through the air. I've done a 70-meter jump before, the alpine jumping, and it this was my favorite thing to do. A lot of the runs had big rocks on them, and I had all of them named. The ones that I would be jumping off, and typically I would always pick the runs with the chairlifts going up there, so I had an audience and I had people to root me on and show off to. So just what I love to do. But uh, back then I'd always go out and make friends with the locals. And when I was 13, I hooked up with this really cool guy named Jack. And Jack's real name was Jack Taylor. He was known as Jumpin' Jack Taylor, two-time world mogul champion, 1973 and 1974. Um, and he had two friends that were skiing with him, two women from the U.S. Olympic team. And back then, there were 3 runs called the avalanche chutes at the top of the mountain that were out of bounds. Now, these 3 chutes back then, you had to walk to the very top of the mountain. You had to take your skis off and hike to the top. Nowadays you can actually ski them at your own risk, and there's a chairlift that'll take you right to the top. But back then you had to hike all the way up there. So one day we decided to go up there and give them a try. Now, I can't tell you how incredible this was. I was skiing with the very best skiers in the world, and I was 13 years old. So we get to the top of the mountain, and my heart is just racing. I mean, these runs are so steep that if you were to stand on them, you could bump your shoulder up against the ground you were standing on. I mean, it was over 75% grade. And they don't call them the avalanche chutes for nothing. The mountain is called Mount Warner after Buddy Warner, who was killed on these very same chutes. So it was crazy, but I absolutely loved it. So I'm following this gorgeous U.S. Olympic team skier down this insane run. My heart's pumping out of my chest, and we make it past all the steep part, and now we're bumping down through the trees, and it's deep powder, and it's just amazing. And I follow her around this big rock, and I hear her scream out, and then a thud, and I'm right behind her, and we fall into uh, this tree well, and it's basically a big giant pit. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but many people die each year by falling into these things, and they can't get out, and they ended up freezing to death. Or they get exhausted trying to climb out, and they just die. But I'm all tangled up with this incredible woman, and then she starts crying. And I mean, she must have been 19, maybe 20 years old. Um, So I just went into total rescue mode. I'm telling her, "Yeah, we'll be here, okay? I'll get you out of here." Um, but I can't tell you, it's a lot harder than it looks to get yourself out of these things. I mean, we're 10 feet down into this hole with this massive pine tree over us, and the snow is so light and fluffy that you really can't get a good foothold to get to climb out. But that didn't stop me. And after about 30 minutes trying and digging and just clawing, I finally got out of there. And then I took one of my skis and I ended up pulling her out of there. My reward was an innocent hug and a little kiss on the cheek. And man, that was a great day. Another time on the mountain when I was about 8, I think, I was skiing with my dad on the other side of the mountain. We weren't doing the shoots, but I witnessed this terrible fall. This lady had a terrible tumble. She went ass over apple carts, and me always wanting to be the hero, I made my way over to her to make sure she was all right. And she was a very attractive lady, and she spoke in a very proper voice and informed me that she was okay. So I skied off. Well, my dad was right behind me and he skied up to her. And it was then that he realized who this person actually was. And it was Jackie Kennedy Onassis, skiing by herself, no bodyguards. And so she tells my father, wow, your little girl is quite the skier. So my dad tells me this on the chairlift as we're going up, and I said, I don't care who she is. She can't be very smart if she thinks I'm a girl. I had blonde hair back then, and it was long. My mom bleached my hair, believe it or not. So many great memories were made skiing out there in Colorado, and when I think back to it, I really wish I would have pursued, the things that I loved harder in my life and tried to make a living out of it. Doing something that you love is really, for a living, is really only found by a very few. Uh, but I can tell you, I loved having my own home service business. Creating your own destiny, being the captain of your own ship, being able to work outside and you face new challenges and you solve new problems every day. It just makes you feel alive. You get to meet new people, and if you can, you can become involved in helping your employees achieve their dreams. Now, it's not quite as good as skiing for a living, but it's a business that I could really get behind. Get up every morning, face the day with a smile on your face. So the whole point of this is if you have a business like this, you need to really count your blessings. Very few have it as good as you. I hope that helps. If you like this, please hit subscribe and like, and God bless. Have a great day.